Hey there, good Friday morning, everybody. Chris Allen here on the Sam channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X, all sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. It is January the 10th, and we're full into the winter storm warning that is in effect now and will be up for the rest of the day, all through tonight and into tomorrow morning. You can see on the radar behind me that it's showing a lot of activity, but not everybody's seeing it hit the ground just yet. But it's happening, and it will happen. It's going to happen for much of the area, pretty much all of the area. As I do this update here at 7:55 a.m. Central Time, you look outside at the Plano cam, and occasionally you can see some light snow flurries that are coming down, but there's not much else. So I'm already getting people saying, it's a bust. It's not going to happen. You're wrong. Yeah, it's the bowling bubble. Don't you know the Bowling Green bubble protects us from everything? Really? Does it? Yeah, I don't think so. And this is not going to miss us, and this is not going to be a bust. It's happening. There's just a lot of dry air that's sitting over us from previous days that this moisture is having a hard time breaking through. But once it does, once from top to bottom, this moisture begins to break through, you're going to get the snow and you're going to see it come down. And even though in Bowling Green, at least, it doesn't look like much is happening, there's a lot happening west and southwest of us, and it's coming this direction. Just give it a little more time, and you'll soon see. Here's a look at radar, and you can see just this, how it's picking up on all of this abundant moisture. And it's all in the form of snow. We're not going to have any other kind of precipitation around here. Now, further south, it is going to be a mix. But for us, it's going to be entirely snow. Now, we did have a little bit of a hole here that the Doppler radar side was showing, but you can see now, and that's a sign that the moisture is starting to overtake the dry air in place. You know, snow is a process, and sometimes it takes a lot longer than what we think it should, but it's here. We're not wrong. This is not a miss. It's not a bust. It's not a bubble. There's no such thing. It's happening. Okay. And as we go through the day, you'll soon see how it is happening. I'll even switch radar sites, go from Nashville to Fort Campbell, and you can see how nicely now this is all filling in. And west of Hopkinsville and down toward Nashville and Clarksville, they're getting a little bit more in the way of moderate snow. Let's go to the Paducah radar, see what they're showing. Yep, same thing. Look how far this goes. Way back to the west. Here's the St. Louis radar. Look at all that. I mean, it goes for a long, long way. This is a huge snow event. Let's go to the radar near Memphis, which is Millington, Tennessee. And there you can start to see some of the mix stuff. You go south toward Tupelo. That's where you're starting to see some ice and sleet mixing in. Then it goes to rain. And even over near Muscle Shoals, Florence, Sheffield, Alabama, getting a snow, rain, ice mix over toward Decatur and Huntsville. Here is the high top Doppler, they call it. That's just a little northeast of Huntsville. And there you see filling in very nicely all of the snow. And then we go further north to the Louisville radar. Now, there is a little bit of a hole up here, but some of this is just the Doppler radar with something as fine as snow. It's not going to pick it up the same as rain. And sometimes the algorithms in the radar doesn't quite put everything out there that it should, the sensitivity, if you will, of the radar. But most everybody's getting snow for precipitation, and it is going to be that, nothing else for us. It is all going to be snow. So be assured that it's coming. It's here practically. And just because it's not snowing big flakes at your house or it's starting to accumulate yet, it is back to the west of us. Just give it a little more time and everything is going to go the way you want it to go. Those of you that want the snow. Now, if you don't want the snow, it's going fine for you. You're like, ha, 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 weather people are wrong, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, we've heard it before. Okay, just rest assured that it's coming, just taking a little bit longer. Okay, I want to go to the Go Kentucky site, which will show how things are stacking up. You can even see a few cameras out there, and I want to show you that it is snowing back into Hopkinsville. This is Christian County, Highway 41. Look at the snow coming down there, and it's starting to accumulate on the grassy areas right there. That's 41 and the Parkway extension, Western Kentucky Parkway extension that goes out to I-24. So you can see visibility is even being cut down because of the snow rates that are picking up very heavily. So this is Hopkinsville. That's the way it looks right now there. Okay. And we're getting numerous accidents. Here's a report from the Waze app in Caldwell County on I-24 road, hazard on the road. It's ice, some ice because it's snow accumulating there. Then we see same thing up in Lyon County. So this is starting to take over. We just got to give it a little more time. Here's another camera. This is, look at that. Interstate 24 near the Tennessee border. That's pretty significant snow that's coming down. And you can tell that even though the roadways are just wet at the moment, they're going to freeze up as temperatures will continue to go down. Now let's come a little closer to home. Here is I-65 and the Welcome Center in Franklin, and there's snow. You can see the visibility getting a little thicker as you head. This is southbound 65. There's the Welcome Center on the left. Here's northbound 65 crossing the Tennessee line, which is right back here, and the Welcome Center on the Tennessee side. So snow is coming down. You can see it coming down pretty good, but it hasn't accumulated much yet. That also will begin to change. Well, let's go in here to Warren County. Here is mile marker 731W just south of town. And yeah, it looks like there's nothing happening here. At the moment, there's not much happening, but it's going to pick up. It's going to pick up in intensity pretty well here pretty soon. This is the Veterans Outer Loop and Morgantown Road. Walmart sits right over here to the right, the other Walmart, Morgantown Road. So there you're looking at that camera. Not a whole lot going on there. Let's go up the interstate. And it looks like you guys have been getting a little snow up 65 north. This would be in Hart County. So, it's just different places. So you've got to understand that this is going to take some time to get going. And it's just because you're not seeing anything right now doesn't mean that it's a bust. Okay. It's, it's just there's a lot of dry air to overcome. And once it overcomes that dry air, look out, it's going to snow at a pretty good rate. Here's a look at Kentucky mesonet temperatures as of 8 a.m. Now that we've crossed over into the 8 o'clock hour, you can see there's teens to the north. Excuse me. As you look further south, temperatures have warmed, another indication that we're getting some moisture coming in, mid 20s, even some upper 20s. And, you know, we're reaching that perfect temperature to help produce the snow. That means, and what I'm seeing just from this picture is this is where the drier air still remains. It's still somewhat dry here in southern Kentucky, but with these temperatures going up, that means we're starting to saturate the columns and we're going to start to see the snow develop. It's a process. It's a process that sometimes takes time. So I just want you to know nothing is changed or has changed. Everything is still on track. We're still looking at some pretty hefty snowfall to happen as we go through the day. And especially this afternoon and this evening. I think that's when some of the heaviest of the stuff will come through. Now, here's a look at the current map situation. High pressure locking in the cold air. Here is the lighter stuff that's trying to fall right now, but here's the heavy stuff, which is still back into far western Kentucky, southern Illinois, much of Missouri, Arkansas, West Tennessee. Then it changes to an icy mix further south. Here we go toward noontime, and this is when we begin to see, or in between now and then, in the next 3 or 4 hours, we're going to begin to see heavier snow push in. Because by then, we'll get rid of this very dry air, and the moisture will have saturated the columns in the atmosphere from top to bottom where it needs to be, and the temperatures will be perfect for the development of snow. And because it's Gulf moisture, this should be a pretty good wet snow that's good for packing and building snowmen and things like that eventually. Here we are at 6 o'clock tonight. Little pieces of energy will continue to move through, and therefore still calling for heavy snow across southern Kentucky at 6 o'clock this evening. After that, it will start to taper off as we get into the overnight hours. Here's midnight. Still some leftover light snow and flurries. Same goes for Saturday morning. I still think we'll see a few flurries early tomorrow morning, and then we'll see it gradually taper off as we get into tomorrow night. As high pressure builds in, keeps us pretty quiet after that. Warmer air will try to work in for Sunday, and we may get warm enough to see that whatever falls today may even melt a little bit with some sunshine and high temperatures getting up about the mid 30s. And then I still see this little piece of energy that wants to swing through here on Monday. At first, we had a little bit of light snow flurry activity that we were going to keep in the forecast for Monday. That appears it's going to be more of a north of the Ohio kind of a situation. So we've taken it out of the forecast here. Here we go into Tuesday, then into Wednesday, Thursday. Pretty good little piece of energy off to our northeast. And then next Friday, with high pressure in control, not a whole lot of change. After we get past this system, then we're going to be looking at a little bit of a reprieve from winter storms. And I do mean a short break, because I see a signal coming down the road, which could spell trouble for another wintry system once we get on closer to the middle part of the month and toward the end. I think something's going to come in there. Here's a look at the model blender. We're going to stay right about freezing the next several days and maybe warm up as much as 40 or between 35 and 40 on Sunday. That may be pushing it just a little. We'll have to see, but look at the low temperatures stay in the teens and 20s. So we could have a little melting, then refreezing, melting, refreezing for whatever falls. If we get several inches of snow today, then some of that's going to stick around regardless. Here we see a colder trend Tuesday, Wednesday, and then warming back into the 30s and 40s for the end of next week, and then another fall off in temperature. Look at this, 28 to 9. That's Tuesday, a high of 28, and then Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, a low around 9. So the cold air is not done, even though we're going to have temperatures trying to get back close to where they should be this time of the year, which is in the 40s, about 45, 46. We're only going to see maybe a day or two of that out of the next 10 days. Overall, the trend is still pretty cold. All right. Let me show you. I meant to call this up and I forgot to do that. Let me show you the latest briefing from the National Weather Service so you can see what that is going to show, because it does include details about amounts. Excuse me. All right, here we go. This is the latest briefing. Oops. Winter storm warning. None of that has changed. Still in effect through early Saturday morning. Pardon me. Having to clear my throat a lot this morning. Snowfall accumulations of 3 to 6 inches across southern Indiana and central Kentucky, across the far southern Kentucky area, along the Kentucky and Tennessee border. 4 to 6 inches with locally higher amounts are possible. Confidence in this forecast is high. But that's not to say you may end up with 3.5 or 4. But some of you could end up with 5 or 6. It's not going to be the same everywhere. So that's why we're giving you this kind of a range of where we think or how we think this is going to play out. Based on the moisture that's coming in and just based on temperatures and the track of the system, we should be able to get that much. I don't see any reason why we would not. Just because it's not snowing that much right now doesn't mean it's not going to. And once this thing gets going, it's not going to stop for a while. Here you see the outline of the projected snowfalls, which we agree with at News 40. Confidence is high for the snow to be all snow. All of it will be snow. No mix. Their confidence medium for the snow amounts. That means, there could be a little play in here. So like I said, some of you may be closer to 3, 3.5 instead of 4 or 5 or 6. But generally that's what we're looking at. And the highest amounts are going to be close to the Tennessee border. And Middle Tennessee, excuse me again, I'm sorry. Middle Tennessee is going to be much higher in some cases with snowfall. The timing, it's happening. It's happening right now, pretty much on cue. It's taken a while to get through the dry air, but it's happening now. And here you see it's projected to end sometime around midnight tonight on the scale. And then I still think we'll have some flurries left over as we get into the day tomorrow. Minor to moderate impacts. And notice they've got the moderate impacts mostly over Bowling Green, southern Kentucky, and down through middle Tennessee. Disruptions to daily life, hazardous driving conditions. You know, that's for this kind of a snow event, that's a given. There will be hazardous driving conditions. Even though it's not bad right now, it will be. And of course, you know how to prepare. We've shown this several times. You should have already taken care of this. It's kind of late now to be taking care of this now, but here it comes. Travel resources. If you have to get out, here are your phone numbers and the apps that you can go to and check out travel information for each state. Do not call 911 for traffic information or to see if a road is closed. They will tell you, do not call 911. 511, you can. Or you can call in Kentucky 866-737-3767 or go to goky.ky.gov. And that's the website I showed you a few minutes ago that has the traffic cams on it. goky.ky.gov. In Indiana, NDOT TrafficWise, it's an app, or you can go to 511in for Indiana.org. In Tennessee, you can dial 511 or your 877-244-0065. And they also have a website, tn511.com. So use those. Do not call 911 unless it is an emergency. And only in an emergency should you call 911. Asking about road conditions is not an emergency. Okay? So, those of you that are not seeing snow coming down right now, hang in there because it's about to happen. And when it starts, it's not going to finish for the rest of the day. Those of you that are getting snow right now, and I see many of you in the chat room, which are reporting some pretty good snow coming down now. There's no turning back. It's at this point, it's going to keep coming. And some of the heavier snow is about to pull in to Bowling Green. So those of you that are thinking it's a bust, it's not going to happen, the bubble is going to protect us. No, it's going to happen. All right, you guys, keep the News 40 weather app with you throughout the day. If you want to follow along and see radar anytime, you don't have to wait for me. You can see radar anytime you want. Just look at your phone. It's there. It's constantly updated. Weather alerts, constantly updated. Everything you need to know. School closings, all of that. It's all right there on the News 40 weather app right here on your phone. Download it now. In the meantime, have a great day. Stay safe, stay informed, and enjoy the snow. God bless you, and thank you for watching.